Hello. So we're live.
Hi.
Hello. Parshas Achrei. In Israel it's not Parshas Achrei, but in Israel it's Shabbos, so they can't do it anyways. And so the Parsha begins Achrei Shnei Bnei Aaron, and then it says the whole halacha of Yom Kippur. And there's several levels between these. How the story that Nadav Avi died, because they were not their hair is big enough, or they didn't have enough yira. Basically, didn't have enough. They were like somehow too much in love with the whole idea of Mishkan and to respect. And then after that, we have the story of Yom Kippur, which is the whole, like when you do allowed to go into the Kodesh HaKodeshim without, like when it's allowed. Now, so there's several, like the simple explanation is what the Rashi and Farshim say, that so they weren't in a not allowed time, and they were saying, well, look what they did, and they died, and now you're going to tell you the correct way to do it. But that is only a very simple level of explanation. And the more previous level is that actually through the story of Yom Kippur is actually something which transcends what they did. So Axarei was translated like it can be after they died, or the real translation would be post they died, meaning me'evel to their death. Axarei like meta physics, after physics, or after they died, and this story of Yom Kippur is something which has to transcend the whole idea of death and the whole source of them, of why they died. And in other words, this means that when the Kohen Gadol goes in Yom Kippur and the Kodesh HaKodeshim is not in the sense that, well, now he is following the halacha and he is going according to Moshe Rabbeinu and he is going to Mishkan when he is allowed. He is reaching such a kind of space and such a kind of level where he does not have to ask permission, and when they not ask permission is not punished like in the lower level as Nadav Avi got punished because they were in the lower level. But in the real higher level, then there is no kitreg and there's no din, and this is the entire idea of Yom Kippur, which is why we say Yom Kippur is mechaper on all your sins, and because it's in a space where sins do not touch and they don't make a difference. It's not like, oh, today we're still in the world of sin and evil and good, and then we mechaper your sins. We're bringing you on an entire level, like in the Kodesh HaKodeshim, in some place where there's no sin ever. And there's a lot of illustrations of this idea. I like to say the story of the Mittler Rebbe, that people used to come to him complain that they can't be mechaven by davening. They're stuck. Their mind is set in all kinds of regular things. So he told them, well, instead of thinking when you must think of Hasidus before then the kiss, you shouldn't think of like small madragas like Olam Hatzilas. You should think of madragas before that Tzimtzum, before there was any creation, and since in those madragas there's not any pkam because it was before anything, so it's going to be easier to be mechavan. In other words, instead of going through the regular way, we just go in a shortcut and we just go higher, and we go in a place where there's no question of sin and there's not even the existence of sin. It's like Axarei, and it's like the same thing as Moavet is encompass all kinds of problems that we have in our week and our life, and we're going beyond that to find a space like Yom Kippur, like Uzay Siava had in Al HaKodesh, in some holy space which is beyond the weekly and day-to-day concerns. And the same sense when it's after Pesach, so Pesach is a time of a lot of Yira, even though Pesach is supposed to be Ahava according to the Cheshbon, but Lamasa, the main thing of Pesach is not to eat chomet, which means we're being very, very careful, like don't touch anything chomet. And then comes after Paris, we make a big key in the challah and we say, oh, we're going to eat all the challah, which means that we're basically transcending the chomet and not just starting to eat chomet that now is allowed already. Now we already get to a level like Axarei that we're already not being mityaches to the whole concept of chomet. And now we can eat chametz freely because, so I was studying Pesach and we were discussing the Rebbe of Lublin said that when someone is madraga of Ahava, then he doesn't have to be so much concerned with all kinds of things and being nakped on so much on every halacha, because that's from the madraga of Yira, and Ahava is a higher madraga. So this is the idea, and I think this idea of after Pesach, and it's very good that before Pesach we studied Parshas Shmini, which is where it said that they died because they didn't listen to the laws, and now after Pesach we go to the Axay, which is, and then from this comes out Yom Kippur, and it comes out and all the whole idea of being higher than all these things. So that was my idea, and it's also relevant to some other things. And we should be אחרי, and we should find some Yivar LaKodesh over there, and have a wonderful Shabbos with a lot of chametz and a lot of love.